Hi there, stampers and crafters. My name is Tami White from Stamp with Tami, and I have a thing for giraffes. It's true. I love giraffes. It all started in New Jersey, of all places. I also have a thing for roller coasters, and every year I take my kids and their friends on a road trip down to Six Flags in New Jersey so we can ride the extreme roller coasters. Yeah. They also have a safari at Great Adventure in Six Flags in New Jersey. And last year, the kids and I ended up in an accidental giraffe private feeding up on a platform. Just us and a whole bunch of giraffes. It was awesome. And let's just say they were a bunch of hungry fellas, and I stopped to take a selfie and this happened. Is that funny or what? And here's my new friend's jealous girlfriend. After that, the kids won me a stuffed giraffe at the games, who we lovingly named George the Photobombing Giraffe. And even to this day, George the Photobombing Giraffe still shows up in the background of many of our photos with the kids. So I made this little Photobombing Giraffe Treat Box commemorating our George the Giraffe trip, complete with, wait for it, complete with tongue. Alright, you want to see how to make them? Let's get started. George the Photobombing Giraffe. And he just opens up in the back for your treats. Not everybody might need a photobombing giraffe, so you certainly don't have to put his tongue in there, but I think that's the best part. And he goes right along with our cow candy treat box. You can find this YouTube video on my blog as well, and I'll link this and Ellie the elephant, all from this projects page. And all of the supplies that I'm going to be using today, you can purchase in my online store, and I have a free downloadable PDF on my blog, and you can get to it simply by going to this URL or clicking in the link in the YouTube description below. If you're on YouTube, click right on this video. So we're using the Playful Pals stamp set and the coordinating Pyramid Pals framelit. We're going to start off with the box. So we've got the Big Shot die cut machine, we've got the sizzix magnetic platform, one cutting pad, a half a sheet of crushed curry. Again, all of these supplies are on my blog. We're going to want 2 of these boxes, so I'm going to line this up as far in the corner as possible so that I can get 2 out of one sheet. Cutting pad on top and crank it through. And then repeat. So I just want to reinforce those score lines that were automatically cut with the die. And then we're going to stamp some spots. Got an early espresso ink pad. Oh, let me show you what I did here. I took, sorry, I just inked it up, so it's a little early espresso-y, but I took 3 pieces here. I took this, and this piece and put them all on the same acrylic block to stamp together for his spots. And so we're going to stamp them randomly around both triangle sections, because those are the only sections that are going to show. And then we'll put the box together with some tear tape adhesive. Just literally put it down and then just tear it off. No scissors even needed there. And then just peel off the protective backing. And then we're going to line these 2 up together. Like so. And then we're going to put a little bit more tear tape. 2 of the triangles have tabs just on the sides of one of those. Doesn't matter which one. And then just attach those together. And then this little guy here will be the back of our box, where the tail goes. Next, we're going to stamp his pieces to cut out. We need 2 ears, 2 eyes, his tail, and his bow tie on some rich raspberry. And we'll need some chocolate chip for his little horns. And his photobombing tongue is also one of his horns out of rose red. Bringing back the Big Shot and the magnetic platform. 1 cutting pad down. All of our cardstock can be cut at once, with the exception of we'll have to go through one more time to cut the second eye and the second ear. You guys are going to have to use your imagination for his horn, because somewhere on my crafting table of shame, I've misplaced the die that was right here that I used to cut the horn and the tongue with. So we're just going to make the rest of the giraffe, and I'm sure I'll find it as soon as I finish taping. So apologies for that. I'll just leave the cardstock on there and pretend that the horns are there, even though they aren't. Okay, so another thing here is I'm on the magnetic platform. that usually sucks these down, and my cutting pad is a little bowed, and it's making these guys jump around a little bit. See that? And I don't want them to do that. I want them to line up perfectly, so here's a trick. Little Post-it note holds that in place. So I'll just line up the rest of these guys. I'm also using the elephant trunk. This is going to be his neck. One cutting pad on top and crank that through, and then back through for the things that need duplicates. I have a little trick for his face. We're going to be using the elephant ear for his face. And the elephant ear has a score right here, and then this is a tab that holds it onto the elephant. However, we don't want that score on our giraffe face. We're actually going to only cut out like a little more than half of this. And the trick to doing that is we've got magnetic platform, one cutting pad underneath, cardstock, framelit. The second cutting pad cannot cross over that metal line. It's got to just go up to it. And then we're just going to crank that through. It's cut most of the face or ear. And we're just going to finish it off. And that way there won't be a score line down his face. So go ahead and take your paper snips and just kind of freehand up along the side and top there. Now here's all the pieces that we need to go on our box. The only thing missing here is the two antlers where I've lost my die. I might just cut them out freehand after this video. I'm going to use the chocolate chip marker to color in the center of the ears. I'm sorry, that was the early espresso, not chocolate chip. Got my browns mixed up. And then the So Saffron, which is from the Subtles collection, for the top eyelid. So it matches the rest of him. Oh, one more piece I forgot to cut out. I'm sorry, I forgot to cut this out, so I'll be right back with that in So Saffron. And that piece, okay, now these are all the pieces minus the horns. Now that piece that I just cut is going to become his nose. With the fine tip end of the early espresso marker, I'm going to freehand a couple little upside down U's for his nose. Now this little elephant trunk that we just did, it's going to be his neck. I'm going to stamp some spots in early espresso so it matches his body. Okay, so I took a little crushed curry, which is a little bit of a darker yellow. It's a little bit of a darker yellow. We're using the saffron cardstock, so it'll be a little bit more dramatic. I'm going to sponge around the edges of all the pieces. And I even sponged the edges of the box. Okay, now let's put it together. Mostly for the assembly, I just used mini glue dots and Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to stick his head on the back of this elephant trunk, like so, with just a glue dot. And then his ears, glue dots go on the front of those, on the little tab, and that goes behind his head. His little antlers will go right there. I'm cutting the edge of these Stampin' Dimensionals for the back of his eyes, because I found that a whole dimensional was too big for his eye. And line those up. The nose went down flat. Glue dot for that. And then a couple of glue dots sticks the neck to the box, however high, however tall you want him to be. I also sponged around the edges of the bow tie with some rich raspberry. Now the bow tie covers up where the neck meets the box. And his tail has a little tab on it, and that just goes on with a glue dot as well. And that goes right on the back. And there's where the candy goes in. And I'll move back to photobombing George the Giraffe with horns, so you can see what he looks like when you haven't lost your horns. Very stinking cute. So in love with this. I'll have some other Pyramid Pal ideas on my stampwithtami.com blog, and some other videos linked right from this project's page, so you'll be able to find everything, including the free PDF, just by going to this URL. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter while you're there, because I send out free card tutorials every Tuesday. And I have hundreds more videos there too. Thanks for joining me today.